righty, it's Jed Wonderly with the Utah Sports Report, and we are back for part two, where Utah's offense is facing off against Penn State's defense, and we're going to talk about what needs to happen. What are the keys to our offense getting the yards, the drives, sustaining the drives, and most importantly, finishing the drives with touchdowns.
Right. Yes.
Preferably any kind of points, but certainly touchdowns, so that we can win, and hopefully win with a little style, a little pizzazz, and dominating fashion, preferably. So, Kenneth Scott, appreciate you on here again.
Sure.
Let me so I gave you some Penn State stats in episode 1 of the Rose Bowl special. So let me give you a couple of Utah stats. I said Penn State had 5,189 total yards of offense. Utah, 6,145 yards of total offense. That's 472.69 yards a game over 13 games because of the conference championship game. Passing yards was 252 plus yards a game for a total of 3,282 for the season. Rush yards was 220 yards a game. That was, 2,500 and change. Awesome. Our offense, kind of sputtered in a couple of games, but did very well for the most part. We had, let's see, I thought I wrote down passing TDs. We had 29, rushing TDs, 37. We scored a fair bit more than they did on offense. So I would say our offense is more dynamic. I think Rising is better than Clifford. I think our tight ends are better than theirs, even though neither of our top two tight ends are going to be starting. We've got some solid receivers that I think can match up at the very least. Money Parks, I feel like, is coming on strong. He had a great game against USC. A nice little running back combo, even though the person that we thought was going to be the running back to start the season isn't even in the picture anymore.
Right.
But great guys and great players like Mekhi Bernard. We've got JJ Jaquindon Jackson, and then of course we've got great running from Cam at quarterback too.
Right.
And then just a lot of weapons overall. Go ahead and share your thoughts, Kenneth, on is there going to be any surprise players that maybe stand out? Have it's Jalen Dixon's last game as a Ute. Is he going to be is he going to be a little extra fired up to maybe show his dynamite athleticism and speed?
You would sure hope so, but like I've always mentioned with the receiver position, it's all about the opportunity. And I believe once the opportunity was presented to them, they do fantastic. Every time Jalen Dixon gets a end around, he turns the corner, he makes some yardage. When the ball's thrown up his way, like against Washington State, he goes up and get it. Like Money Parks, you give him opportunity, that's what happens. And so I just feel like, if we give our receivers the opportunity, they're going to make the plays. It's just that they just don't see so many opportunities. And that's the toughest part about playing the position. But I think they're going to be ready. Enos is his last game. I'm a fan of his, and I think he's going to come out fired up. Obviously, it's going to be emotional. Jalen Dixon the same way. Devon Bele, they mentioned he's going to be leaving after this year, to the NFL. He's going to try the waters. So we'll see, man. A lot of guys, this is going to be their last game, and so they're going to try everything so that it will be a memorable moment instead of something that just a regrettable moment for time past. So I'm hoping they ball out, which they should.
Right. And I agree with you. I would love to see our receivers be targeted more and I do think we've got some great players. I mean, that play that Money Parks made in the I mean, he caught the ball 4 times, but the play, where he catches it across the middle, looked for sure that he was going to be brought down. He breaks some tackles and then just speed to the end zone, so it was I would love to see him get the ball more, and thankfully he'll have more opportunity next year because he is coming back. He's not eligible for the NFL yet. So
Yeah, I'm excited for this group of receivers. You got Money Parks, you got Makai Cope.
Hmm.
When I looked at the other receivers across the nation, you look at them. The top receivers. They're getting about 10 to 13 pass attempts a game, like a
Right,
game. That's sort
right.
of like how Dalton Kincaid was. I seen there was a stat that said like when Keefe was available, he was like 4.8 like pass attempts per game or something like that. And we all thought Kincaid was good, right? When he was getting those 4.8, attempts a game. But when we say he was legendary is when we finally start getting him the opportunities and the passes more. And I just feel like that's the way with with all our skill players. You give them the opportunity, they're going to shine. And that's what happened with Money Parks. Give him the man the opportunity. He's going to make something happen for it. And so
Hmm.
I'm excited with Dalton being down, kind of transitioning into it with Dalton being down, right? It's going to open up more opportunities for other guys to get involved, and I'm excited to see who's going to be that guy or who's going to be those guys that those opportunities are spread to. So that's going to be the fun part for
Right,
me. I'm like, and I can't wait. I can't wait. It's like
right.
a little mystery movie.
Exactly. Great point. Great point. Now you got me even more excited to see who is going to be the one, who are going to be the ones to get the ball and to make some special plays, make something happen, not just, be satisfied with catching and then getting a yard or two,
Right.
but what are you going to do? And speaking of not just catching and being satisfied with a yard or two, run after the catch, how about Thomas Yasmin? That dude, I think he had the mentality when he
Man,
made the play in the conference championship game. He had the mentality of like, you are not getting in between me and my touchdown.
right. Right. The kid is phenomenal. That's why I'm like, no, don't leave. Like, I feel like so when it comes to him, like he's just such a raw talent. Like this is his first year's playing football. It's like the sky is the limit for him. Like, don't let like I can see why, if he does, like I'm thinking about it, if he does, end up leaving off like he's saying he is, it's gonna be his last year, and he does try the waters at NFL, they may take him on as a project. He has all the time, like he has the size, he has really good speed, he's physical, he's tough, his run after the catch, has a good catching ability. He just has to understand the game better as far as his routes and things like that, making him, more polished and things of that nature. But like the dude is a beast. So like I can see if he does go and leave, he may get an opportunity. I feel like he will get an opportunity based off of his measurements, his tangibles, like all that. So do I want him to leave? No, because I'm selfish and I wanted to see him some more next year. But if he does leave, then I'm excited for guys like Munir McClain, who is a converted
Right.
receiver, has the athletic body, can so I'm like, we could do something. But I'm excited to see what he does in this finale, this grand finale of him being the focal point as the tight end.
Well, if Thomas Yasmin happens to stumble upon this video and listens to you talking, if there was any hope of him coming back, I think you just ruined it
Please.
for us. So
I know. I'm like, yeah,
thanks,
man.
Kenneth. I'm blaming it
I
on
know.
you.
The dude has, man, he has a great talent. So we'll see. We'll see.
And what do you think about? So, I mean, I think people might have been a little worried, oh, Jaquindon Jackson, he's a converted quarterback, but he actually played running back a number of years and quite enjoys it. And he said
Yeah.
in an interview recently, he talked about how getting the opportunity to do this has brought back the joy of playing football because one, he's actually playing again, and
Right.
two, he loves it. He loves being out there with his brothers, and he loves making an impact and
Hmm.
being having a positive effect on the outcome. And again, he had a great play. There were so many big dynamic plays in the conference championship game, and he had that
Right.
run where he broke a couple tackles and went
60 yards.
3 yards or whatever it was. What
Yeah.
so talk about him and maybe Mekhi Bernard and
Hmm.
their possible impact on the game.
Yeah. I never doubt our running back position. I never have. Like no matter who graduates, like the following year, I'm never too worried about that group because either we're always recruiting to fill it, or just because the ample amount of opportunity that that position gets, I know that it's going to be fruitful in regards to like what their output is. So I'm never really never really concerned about that group. But seeing JJ and Mekhi Bernard just being a 1 and 2 tandem, like the dudes are carrying it. Like it's crazy. Like JJ, to think he's only a freshman, like quote unquote freshman, and he still have all these years. He's a guy I could see leaving in about 2 years, possibly, because the running back lifespan, is not that long. Obviously, he wants to maximize his opportunity. And Bernard, being a sophomore, because he's a longer career, he might leave in a year or two. You never know. But no, both of those guys, man, they're putting on a tremendous show in front of everybody, and it's cool to see the maturation of like JJ, like transitioning from QB to running back, and now being solidified as like a running back, and not like is he going back to quarterback? Like it's cool to see him like settle in, and the dude has that dog in him. So I love watching him go, and he's understanding because he's a quarterback too of what the defense is presenting, what stunts they're trying to have so that where the cutback lanes are. So he's like understanding, that piece of it too, as he's, in the backfield scaling the defense. So, our running backs, man, they're doing their job. And I'm still excited for Glover too. He's a young guy.
Oh, absolutely. I love Glover.
Yeah, future's
I'm
bright,
excited
man.
for him.
Future's
Yeah.
bright. And
Yeah.
so I'm excited about the whole group. Young. The group is young.
And we should have Curry back next year too.
Oh my God. So, I'm not too worried about him, and it's going to be a good coming years for sure.
And tomorrow we'll know if we get a couple more good running back recruits signing.
Yeah.
So that, it makes that even more deep and whatnot. And with just one more thing with regard to Jaquindon Jackson, the first couple of games when I was watching him, he seemed like he was running a little bit upright. And he also seemed like he was, just kind of running straight, take what I can get, and then get tackled. But last couple of games, he's really made some great cuts. He's, brushing off tacklers and stiff arming them, like, Heisman Trophies almost kind of thing. I think he's very exciting to watch. I can't wait to see what he does over the next couple of years or however long we have him for.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like, with him and Bernard, and then I think, Glover's learned a lot this year, and I think he'll be really fun to watch next year. And we have Curry. I don't think I think they're just each a little different style. I don't think there's much of a drop off, if any,
right,
with any of them out there. So I'm just super excited for all of that. Think we're going to do really well. Against Penn State, we're talking about a Big Ten defense. How do you think our offensive line is going to hold up against a physical defense like Penn State is?
I think we're going to fare pretty well. Our Pac-12 opponents that kind of are similar in regards to a Big Ten opponent. I'm looking at Stanford. They have bigger fronts. They're very physical, 2-point contact. We have Oregon State's front was good too. And so, like, me thinking of like, okay, well, this is how we handle those teams that have physical fronts, just like a Penn State would. This was our result. And so I feel like we're going to be doing a great job. Our offensive line have been doing an incredible job over the course of the games, just making those running lanes open for our guys, to cut through and just blast them off like, phew. And even giving them, our guy Cam Rising some time back there to, throw it to our receivers, to convert critical downs or make big plays. So, the offensive line, they're gradually keep on continuously getting better, and kudos to them for, having that chemistry and making things happen.
Right. I couldn't agree more. Now, you mentioned a guy who I think is maybe everybody's favorite player, or right up there, with a few others. To me, so all the key players and four are my favorite players, but we all love Cam Rising.
Yep.
What do you think he's going to do to show the world that this is Cam Rising improved over
Yeah.
over last year. This is a new version, a better version of Cam from last year, and he's going to lead us to the quote unquote promised land.
Yeah, man, I still feel like he wants this for himself. Obviously, a Rose Bowl, to have a Rose Bowl underneath your belt, and then if he gets, uh, it's just on a monumental stage, and I just feel like he just has to continue doing him. I know the one game that he wasn't really himself was the Oregon game, and you can kind of tell. And I know he wants that game back. It left him a bad taste in his mouth, but boy, did he come, back the following weeks and prove it wrong. You're right, but I just feel like you have those games as athletes, those bad games, but our shoot, man, the tide rides with him, as far as how we do, So if he's the swagger of the team and he does a phenomenal job, I feel like he's gonna show out. Believe that. He don't want to not come empty-handed of a Rose Bowl after going there last year. Yeah, he ain't gonna leave there without a Rose Bowl. And so it's gonna be fun to watch him.
Good. Well, now again, you got me more excited, and I didn't think I could be any more excited than I already am. So again, who do you think is really going to step up, maybe have a breakout game on offense? And if there's 2 or 3 players, who do you think is going to help carry us to not only the victory, but hopefully a dominant victory?
Man, offensive wise, I'm hoping it's a receiver, honestly.
Why would you hope that, Kenneth?
Because I feel like, I know
because you were a receiver.
I know I'm biased, but I feel like because the impact that Money Parks had on that game, it changed the game, and I feel like if, when you have receivers that, just open it up for you, it helps everything else become easier. And so, me personally, I'm always thinking about, okay, what receiver can I think of that can exploit this? And it's either I feel like we haven't heard too much of Devon Belay in a while, probably because due to injury limiting and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that we get him back in the swing of things and also give our seniors some love, as they're exiting their careers, so it'll be good to see, Enos get a touchdown or because I know how good it felt for me when on my senior day, I got a touchdown versus Colorado and, me and Trav connected, which is funny because I was Travis' first touchdown catch and last touchdown catch, which is pretty cool. And so it's like, having those moments, I would love, for him to have those too. Is just a big game going out. So any of our senior guys, like going out, like, JD, Enos, even Vele, even though he's not a senior, I would want them to have a breakout game. Because if we have a breakout game for one of our receivers, that opens up everything else for us, I think.
And if it's Money Parks that has the breakout game, would you be okay with that?
Oh, more. That means it's going to be a lot of long runs and touchdowns and deep threat. Boy, that boy is fast. He reminds me of Drez when he be running. I swear, all I can think about was Drez. Like whenever he caught the ball, I was like, man, he run just like Drez. It's crazy. But yeah, I would obviously I would love Money Parks, but I want to. I'm being biased towards the seniors right now.
Right, I get it. That's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. And then anybody else that you have in mind that might provide a spark or help us with some momentum or anything?
I'm thinking Munir McClain. Now that Yasmin has to be the focal point, that provides Munir to get more involved at the tight end position. And being his background, you never know. He may get in there, get a couple catches, and hopefully those some big time catches. Yasmin played that Robin role as Dalton was the Batman in USC, and you see how big that play was for Yasmin. So now, as Yasmin is the Batman, now let Munir be the Robin and see what he can do. So that can be my player that comes out of the shadows and has a pretty decent game.
Yeah, that's awesome. That would be fun. I'm a Munir McClain fan as well. Just like you, I think he's got a great body type for tight end. Because I think he's probably a little faster than your average tight end, but still has enough size that he's probably bigger than most linebackers, and definitely can outman some cornerbacks who might try to cover him. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential there for sure. Any last thoughts on the game?
It's gonna be a tight one.
Give me a prediction and last thoughts.
You know, it's crazy. I say 33-29. I don't know why I got those numbers. We're going to win 33-29. I don't even know how we're going to get those numbers, but that's going to be.
Yeah. Well, let me see. That would be 3 touchdowns and 4 field goals. And you're probably aware of how, and it could be other ways too, but
Yeah.
the most common way to get there is 3 touchdowns and 4 field goals. You could do 4 touchdowns, a safety, and a field goal. And for us, that might be easier because a field goal kicking hasn't been our strong point this year. And I'd really like to not give up 29 points. You know, if I'm being honest, I'd like to see our defense hold them to lower. I'm going to do a prediction, and whoever wins, when we get together, the other has to take the other out to the loser has to take the winner out to to lunch or something.
Sounds good with me. Let's do it. I'm down.
I'm going to say I think we, last year we put up 45 points on Ohio State. And I think even though we're minus Keithy and minus Kincaid, I still have a lot of faith in our offense, and I think we'll do very well. I like the scores that we had last year against Oregon, 38 both times. I think we're going to put up 38 in this Rose Bowl, and I think we're going to hold Penn State to 24.
Boom, 38-24.
So 38, and both of my scores are a little bit easier to come by than yours. Which doesn't mean it doesn't increase my likelihood of winning, but
man, I put some crazy numbers.
I actually kind of hope you win just to show the world that crazy numbers work sometimes.
Hey, for real though.
That's great stuff. Well, Kenneth, I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us and give us your thoughts on the upcoming Rose Bowl, and hopefully we're both right and that Utah wins, because that's what really matters in the end. Great talking to you again, Kenneth. Look forward to maybe doing a Rose Bowl recap with big smiles on our face, because the Utah wins, the wide receivers show out, all that kind of stuff. How's that?
You know it. That sounds good with me, man. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, no doubt. And how do we always end this show? By saying, go Utes. Go Utes, baby. Let's go.
Receivers stacked to the left, and now Bernard motions back in. Rising, wheel route, end zone, throw, fingertip catch, touchdown! Micah Bernard playing both ways. And Buckeyes with 40 or more in a year.
He could just work on that accuracy a little bit.
Didn't run enough, does he? Look at Covey weaving his way. Look out, Britton Covey accelerates. Can they run him down? No, they can't. Britton Covey, yet another house call as a returner. They're going to run a play. Rising with some confusion, just keeps it. And there, he's still going.